wirelessly in your home or office. And no cable boxes means unlimited connections and no clutter. You can surf the internet or stream any of your favorite television services with no cable. And the best part is, satellite internet service costs only a few dollars a day for your entire home. Yes, fast internet to surf or stream television for a few bucks a day. Call now for free details and learn how to drop your expensive cable bill.
800-395-0342. 800-395-0342. 800-395-0342. Again, that's 800-395-0342.
This is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Timberwolves superstar Anthony Edwards facing an automatic one-game suspension after picking up 2 technical fouls in the loss to the Lakers, giving him 16 on the season. Unless one of the T's against LA gets rescinded upon review by the NBA league office, Edwards will have to miss tonight's game in Utah. A vow from Isaiah Bond that he will break Xavier Worthy's record 40-yard dash time at the NFL Combine tomorrow. Anticipates running a 4.20, or if he's feeling great, he said he might run a 4.1. Worthy, also a former Texas Longhorn, ran a record 4.21 last year. Chiefs drafted him in the first round. Quarterback Cam Ward, in the running to be the top overall pick in April's draft, won't throw at the Combine tomorrow, said his tape speaks for itself, and he'll throw at Miami's Pro Day. Other NFL news, Eagles are hiring Bowling Green coach Scott Loeffler as their quarterbacks coach.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Are you ready to be part of something bigger? Here at Qualys, we don't just support our national security and space programs. We fuel them with cutting-edge technology. From defending our nation to pushing the boundaries of space, Qualys is where innovation meets impact. Join a team driven by purpose, powered by critical technologies, and committed to making a difference. Your skills, your passion, our mission, where your career and your future takes flight. Apply now at qualys-corp.com.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's daily update on Bama sports and it's brought to you by Guthrie's. America's original chicken finger restaurant is an official partner of the Alabama Crimson Tide. For franchise information, visit Guthrie'sChicken.com. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. On yesterday's edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, we were joined by Alabama softball senior Caitlin Riley. How meaningful is it to have Senior Day coming up this weekend?
It means a lot to me because I'll have so many different supporters from all different walks of life. And I can't wait to go out there and just see everyone and get to interact with more people, but also to see my people that I have been through the journey with and that have supported me since I was a freshman in high school.
It gets pretty emotional on Senior Day.
Yeah.
You ready for that?
Oh, yeah. I cried making my video, so there will most definitely be tears shed.
Well, that's really cool. Great your family and so many people get to come see you play this year as this Crimson Tide team. We're still a few weeks away from SEC play starting. What's going to be most important for this group over the next few weeks before conference action begins?
Just staying together and trusting the process because there will be highs and lows, but as long as we stay together and stay level, it'll work its way through it.
I'll have more in a moment.
Guthrie's Golden Fried Chicken Fingers, an Alabama tailgate tradition. Founded in Haleyville, Alabama in 1965, Guthrie's has been a Bama fan favorite for years. From your hometown to college towns all around, Guthrie's is still serving the family's original Southern fried chicken recipe, just like always, fresh, hot, and fast. Make Guthrie's Golden Fried Chicken Fingers the MVP of your next tailgate. Guthrie's, America's original chicken finger restaurant and now an official partner of the Alabama Crimson Tide. For franchise information, visit Guthrie'sChicken.com.
If you missed yesterday's edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, catch it on demand on all CTSN social media platforms at UA_CTSN. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Guthrie's. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Now, funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown and you.
The lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. Listening to another station I don't understand. But nobody does it like Tom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern bred, southern fed, slick talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. They go up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land. Nobody does it like Tom Abraham.
Yes, I'm on here. Am I on? Somebody respond.
Oh, yeah, you know what that means. Oh, yes, you do know what that means. Yeah, football Friday. Means football music throughout the show, just to remind people how much we love us some football. Of course, this little charmer. This is so good. I might run it at the top of both hours. Of course, we got a huge SEC basketball weekend to talk about as well today. Got Alabama at Tennessee. We have got Auburn at Kentucky as well tomorrow. We're going to get into some of the minutia in that, including how Rupp Arena has been an absolute house of horrors for the Tigers. I mean, my goodness. Auburn hasn't won in Lexington in 37 years. I mean, that's a minute. I mean, that isn't just nothing. 37 years since Auburn won a game there in Lexington, including the last 20 in a row. It was 1988 when John Kraler knocked down a three at the buzzer for a 53-52 Auburn win. I mean, that's how long it's been.
We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
Been around a minute. Alabama is 24-44 in Knoxville, with the last win there coming on January 2nd of 2022. So we'll take a look at the tail of the tape in that one there, which is incredible. It's an incredible matchup of styles. The Tide is the highest scoring team in the country at 91.5 points per game, while the Vols only allow 60 points a game, which is third in the country defensively. So this is good on good, man. I mean, we're going to find, it's a 31-point difference. That's a lot of points. That's a huge difference. And, we always say that it's all about the defense. I mean, in the end of the day, defense always wins these championships and so on. So we're going to find out a little bit about what it looks like if you're the best defensive team in the country or one of the best in the country defensively versus one of the best offensive teams in the country. So we're going to get a good feel for that as well. We welcome those of you that are watching on WZZN TV, which is our YouTube channel, and on X as well. Check that out if you haven't yet, as well as our listeners on 97.7 ESPN, the app, and those listening over the air in Winchester on ESPN Winchester. Your lines are open, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. You can also text the show, 732-9TA show, 732-982-7469. That is a great way to communicate with us. My X feed is open at Tom Abraham Show. The Zone is on X at 97.7 ESPN. The Talk Radio WZZN app is also there for you for more great programming. And that Zone app, you need to get that. Get the ESPN Winchester app. Get all these apps, and you have great content. And don't forget about your big Zone deals. You can find the link at 977ESPN.com and on all our social media platforms. Now, there is a special up there right now on Carrabba's Italian Grill while supplies last. Just $20 gets you two $25 certificates, but that is only good for today. Now, John Boy Dewey Magoo, my partner in crime with Value Line Sports, which is being beta tested right now will join us at the bottom of the hour with his thoughts on both the Auburn-Kentucky game and the Alabama-Tennessee game. And, the Alabama-Tennessee game very likely could be for the number 1 seed in the Big Dance. Not the overall number 1 seed, that's Auburn's, but for a 1 seed in the Big Dance. All right, that could be happening. Of course, Florida's loss to Georgia may have knocked the Gators off the top line. We'll see. Florida hosts number 12 Texas A&M tomorrow, which is trying to bounce back from their own home loss to Vandy. And then later on in hour number 2, we get Steve Merrill in from Wager Talk TV on this deal as well. All right, in the meantime, add Cam Ward to the list of players who will not participate in on-field drills in Indy this weekend. And really, it's such BS. I mean, he says that there is 5 years of film for people to look at to evaluate him. Well, really? I mean, 4 years at Washington State and 1 year at Miami playing a schedule without a top 25 team on it. I mean, what are you afraid of? You get out there and let it rip and run that 42. I mean, Ward and Shadur Sanders are first rounders only because this quarterback class is so weak. So why not get out there and show out a little bit? You know who is going to throw? I'll tell you who is going to throw. Who's going to throw is Jackson Dart. And let me tell you this, too, about that. Jackson Dart may be the best quarterback out of this group. They're all the same size, by the way. They're all 6'2". They all weigh between 218, 225 pounds. And there are some scouts that are already saying that they think he's the best prospect in this deal. Jackson Dart. So it could be. All right, back at Mission Control, breathing into his open mic, playing the Platters That Matter, and that's so much better. I did message him, but apparently he didn't see that message. He said, just stuff working in the background, you know, all kinds of control room noise going on in the background. Playing the Platters That Matter, the Stacks of Wax answer phones, living large and in charge, with Joe Hunk off to call a UAH baseball game this beautiful afternoon. It is the one and the only Captain Cool.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put the thing together on a spit and polish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
I have a sentimental weakness for my children, and I spoil them, as you can see. They talk when they should listen.
Give me back my son. I don't like violence, Tom. I'm a businessman.
I'm telling you, there's an embarrassing press conference in that kid's future.
You ain't first. You're last. He's got Abraham now. What a catch! What a catch! A leaping catch at the 45-yard lines, and he brings it in. Hello, how are you?
I was like, what's going on, man? I mean, I was getting all of that background noise in the control room and all that kind of stuff, and I'm hitting you up on the, I don't multicast very well. I'm not talented like you guys are, and I'm over here trying to send you little messages, over the call screener software so that you can see, what I'm saying while I'm talking. I mean, it's crazy. You didn't see a little note there I sent over? I said, mic open?
No, I actually just saw that. Look, when I'm 3 shows in, you'd think that I'm, limber enough to make sure everything's going right. But no, it gets to the point where the rust starts showing again. But regardless, I do now see your thing, and I'll make sure the mic stays closed when I'm not on. Unless you're not,
cracking a comment, that would be the only thing. I mean, if you're cracking a comment, that's different. I don't understand these guys not performing at the combine. You play your college career, you get invited to the combine to have this audition for NFL coaches, and I'm telling you, for me, and I know that they'll have their pro days and things like that, but for me, when a kid says, "Oh, you got 5 years of film to look at, I don't need to throw in front of it," that's a red flag to me. That's a problem for me when a kid says that.
I could see where you're coming from with it, because it's a player that's supposed to really love the sport. You want that guy that wants every opportunity he can. But at the same time, you got to see where this is. I mean, these guys are in the business now of college football going into the NFL. So they know how it is. They don't want to show any of their talents if they don't have to, because do they make any extra money if they're at
No.
then
Well,
there you
who
go.
knows? You know what? If I'm Cam Ward and I want to be the one and Shadur Sanders says he's not throwing, I'm throwing. If I'm Shadur Sanders and Cam Ward, so they make a deal together, let's not throw. How about this? How about we take Jackson Dart instead, and we just don't know what you people have? Because you know why? Jackson Dart played and performed in the SEC. All right. While you were out there playing in the Pac-12 and then playing against the ACC Sisters of the Poor, Jackson Dart was performing in the SEC. And you, Shadir, while you were out there playing in the HBCU and then playing in the Pac-12 against a bunch of nobodies and then playing in the Big 12 against another bunch of nobodies, Jackson Dart was playing in the SEC. So you know what? We'd like to see your footwork up close and personal. We would like to see the ball come off your hand. We would like to see you throw a little bit. We would like to see you compete. All right. What about the competes? That's all I'm saying. I don't know. It's bothersome to me.
They
know.
They just don't want to hit the bench press.
Don't do the bench press. If you're a quarterback, don't do it. You know what I really want to do is see those guys run a little bit, because you don't know whether or not these guys are they really dual threat quarterbacks or not. We didn't see a lot of Shadur Sanders running. We did see him be very elusive in the pocket because his offensive line was so bad. But we also saw him hold the ball all the time, for a long time. Now, we know that Cam Ward seems to be able to run a little bit. He's not, the second coming of Cam Newton.
Yeah.
He's not Lamar Jackson. All right. But let's see. I would like to see the kid run a little bit. Yeah, I like to see how they run.
I agree. I look at Cam Ward, and what I think of is a type of player that Michael Penix is, where, he's got the mobility, but he's also one of those big, stocky quarterbacks that, you don't know when you throw him into a true speed scenario in the NFL. You don't know what they're exactly going to throw at you. And that's one thing. You want to have them all side by side. That's where the combine is the place to do it. Instead, these guys want to do it at the pro days, separate from the rest of the competition.
Yeah. Well, I don't have my own receivers, and I'm not comfortable. I want to see him be comfortable while being uncomfortable. You know what I mean? That's part of the story. I want to put him in an uncomfortable situation and see how they work. I want to see how they compete. I don't know. I'm old school. I'm just some dude. I'm just some old dude, But I'm sitting here saying to myself, I don't know how I could stand by and watch while these other quarterbacks were throwing down on the field. I couldn't do it. I'd be like, give me a ball. Give me a ball over here.
I'd be upset with myself just because they're not going to get another opportunity like they, do now in Indianapolis, where, this is something a lot of kids dream for. And just to have that opportunity to show off what you got. And for these players, I think it's bigger now than the combine itself. It's even bigger than the sport. And they want to, of course, make every cent they can. And if it doesn't give them any extra money and they already know that they're a first-round pick, then they're just going to ride with it and skip out on it.
Yeah, it's not. I don't like it. I don't think that's the way you roll. I don't think that's the way you roll. I think you compete. Every opportunity to compete, I think you need to take that opportunity and compete. That's just the way that's just my makeup. All right. That's just the way I think, is that if you have a chance to compete, you get out there and you compete. That's all I'm going to say about that. I wish I would do it. And then, your guy, Ashton Genty, he's not going to do anything. He's a running back. So go run. What are we asking you to do? Catch some passes in the flat and go out there and run a little bit. That's all. We want to see you run. We want to see you go through the cones. Is it too much for you to go through the cones? Is it too much for you to run a pattern into the flat? Come on.
It might be injury at that point. Like,
get out of here with injury. You're a football player.
I don't know. With a running back, it seems like there's a lot more of an opportunity to lessen your stock than to hype it up. So you want the scouts to know the last bit of football that you played outside of the pro day that you'll probably have. came from his performance whenever it was, it was.
Well, how about the flip side of it? How about you moving on up? How about you look so damn good that you know what? The running back was a big thing last year in the NFL. Maybe you decide to go out there and run a little bit and advance yourself. Maybe make yourself look a little better.
No, who knows? I don't know if that's exactly possible for him. I think he's already at the top of what a running back could get going into this draft, especially out of Boise State.
Just compete. Johnny's on a cell phone. Johnny, welcome to the show. How are you? Johnny, talk to me. There you go. How you doing, Johnny?
Great. So, Thom, you're a business guy. It's a business decision, right? Look, I understand you can blame the kid for not wanting to show tape. All right, but let's take the flip side. What happens if the kid has a horrible day throwing and has a bad day, and instead of finding himself in the top round of the first 5-10 picks of the draft, he doesn't come into the second round, early second.
Yeah.
That's a massive pay difference. And you never know. You don't need, if you don't have to show and I get the thing about the running back, but I have to agree that, there's not much the kid can do to lower himself from the top back taken in the draft. It's just who's going to need a running back to take it in the first round. Yes, there was a resurgence in the running back, playing, but I don't think you're going to see a running back drafted in the top 15, 20 spots anymore.
There's a lot of talk about the Raiders who are at 8 or 9, something like that they could take Gentry because, especially depending on what they do at quarterback, in free agency, if they're able to pull in a Sam Darnold or something like that, then maybe that, now they already have the good tight end and Brock Bowers, maybe they go ahead and add a great running back and Austin Gentry. But I want to see Ashton Gentry, but I want to see him catch a ball in a flat. I want to see him run a route. I want to see him do some of these things. I just.
But big though. It's not like Gentry didn't show up at the college football playoffs and have a good showing. You've seen him play against top level talent, and I don't think you have to. If you're the running back, you're not. If the Raiders are the one team that's going to get a running back, it's not going to change whether or not he could show up in the draft and run the fastest time ever for a running back, catch all the balls out of the backfield, and it's still not going to make somebody want to draft a running back over a quarterback. So I don't think that's a problem. And but like with Cam Ward, everybody knows that if the kid has a bad day, he could drop, his stock could drop. And if you're his agent, you're like, you ain't throwing. You're not. There's no way I'm letting you come loose on this. You're not coming. You're not going to throw him because
should that make his
worth the reward?
Yeah, but should that make his stock drop then? The fact that he doesn't want to go out there and compete, you don't think that should make his stock? Right now, Mel Kiper has the Browns taking Cam Ward at 2. The kid doesn't want to go out there and throw. If you're the Browns, you sit back and say, you know what? This kid wouldn't even throw for us at the, he'll throw in his pro day. I get that.
Let's take it from there, big dog. If you're the Browns and the kid doesn't throw, but let's say the kid does throw and you don't like what you see, that means you're going to move on to another quarterback. So if you're going to move, how much is that going to cost Cam Ward if you move on to another quarterback? I just don't know that the risk is worth the reward of getting out there and putting something on tape that the whole world sees versus someone that's already looking at you hard at the number 2 overall pick. It's just, are you going to take a chance on dropping? Because if you don't, and you go your home pro day and you light it up at pro day, they're still going to see what they want to see. Can you make the throws? Can you make the whatever? And you're throwing the guys you're used to throwing to.
Yeah, but don't you think that you still would have that
chemistry in the off season? You develop chemistry in the off season.
Don't you think, though, that you would still have that chance to do that at your pro day at home? I see. What I like about Indianapolis is, first of all, you're looking right into the eyes of the other guys that you're going to be competing with to be drafted high, and you're in an uncomfortable situation. And I want to see the kid perform in an uncomfortable situation.
But, Thom,
now you take him home. He gets to sleep in his own bed. He gets to have his own receivers. He's on his own surface. He's in his own locker room. Oh, sure, that's great. But you know what? The Cleveland Browns don't play any games at the University of Miami. So I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
But, Tom, you're taking it from an NFL eval situation, not from a kid situation. If you were the kid, there's no way in hell you're throwing, especially if you're going to be the 2 pick. But if you're now a talent scout, you want to see the kid throw. A coach wants to see the kid throw. But if you're that kid's agent, you're telling the kid, no way in hell you're throwing. You're just not, especially if you're going to be the 2 pick off the board.
You know who
It's
did
just
throw
not going to happen.
You know who threw at the combine? Peyton Manning. He threw at the combine.
Yeah, but you know what? Peyton Manning, look, that's also a generation, 2 generations removed from where they are now, especially with these salary caps on rookie programs. Back in Peyton Manning's day, rookies can make a crap ton of money. They are capped now. I mean, the rookie contracts used to be a hamstring for a team. They no longer are. As a matter of fact, you want to find that quarterback on a rookie deal that could be your guy so that you can pay all the talent around him so that you can make a run in the playoffs. It's a different world and it's a whole new scheme.
Yeah. No, I understand. Thanks for the call, Johnny. It's a good job by you. I understand all of that. I just don't like it. I mean, I get it. I mean, Jaden Daniels didn't throw at the combine last year. He worked out okay.
When I think of running backs running, super fast, the first guy you got to think of is Chris Johnson. It's crazy how different times have changed because that was back in 2007. He gets drafted. There were 3 other running backs that got drafted. No, 4.
Yeah, but he was a second rounder. I mean, nobody knew it.
No,
wasn't he? Didn't Chris Johnson? Oh, no, late first round?
Yep. There were 4 other running backs drafted ahead of him, and this is one of the guys that really stood out, of course, hitting that 4,
Who were the other 4?
2-4. Rashad Mendenhall, all right?
Sucked. Yeah.
Felix Jones.
Sucked. It was great. Actually, he had a minute. He was okay for a minute. Yeah. I saw him play at Arkansas
he was
live. I thought he was going to be much better, but he ended up kind of sucking.
Jonathan Stewart was the 13th pick to Carolina.
All right.
And then Darren McFadden. Oh, yeah.
He was all right.
He was stout.
He was okay. But he was, of those. And then, so Chris Johnson was the 5th one taken?
Yeah. And Darren McFadden was the 4th taken. And that's just how crazy it's changed. You're not going to you might get 1 this season. And that's going off of many seasons where you didn't get any running backs in the first round.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be a first round. I mean, Gentry will be a first round quarterback. Whether you believe in that or not, he will. You know who threw at so Caleb Williams did not throw. Jaden Daniels did not throw. They were the top 2 picks. You know who threw at the combine? Bo Nix. Bo Nix threw at the combine.
Look at him now.
And look at him now. What was Bo Nix, the 5th or 6th quarterback taken? Yeah. I mean, he was like the 14th or 15th pick overall, but he was like the 5th or 6th quarterback taken. I mean, it's interesting. All right, let's get a break. When we come back, John Boy Dewey Magoo with his take. He's been crunching numbers, and we're going to get his take on Auburn, Kentucky, Alabama, Tennessee. We'll do it next, right here on Football Friday on the Thom Abraham Show.
Tuscaloosa, we live by the blue-collar basketball motto. Stepping back, deep 3, hard work. 2 on 1, driving, stepping through, stop, shot, got it to go. Teamwork. Playing the song for the champions of the Southeastern Conference. Join us for every game right here on your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
The new favorite place for delicious Mexican food is Coralejos Mexican Grill in Huntsville. Check out their reviews on Facebook and you'll see what people are raving about. Enjoy drink specials all day, Monday through Thursday, like house margaritas for $3.99 and 12-ounce drafts for $2. Even vegan-friendly entrees on Monday starting at $5. Coralejos Mexican Grill, 1658 Old Monrovia Road in Huntsville. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on their specials.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list and maybe a little scary, but it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Steve Moulton for Lee's Magic Tunnel. Do you live out of your car? Does your car look like you've been well lived in? Then take your vehicle to Lee's Magic Tunnel, located on the Parkway. Any size of the vehicle, it doesn't matter. Lee's will get it clean. Offering many types of washes, but getting it clean inside and out. Ask for the manager special. That's at Lee's Magic Tunnel, located on the Parkway, and located online at leesmagictunnel.com for more information.
Football season and Bad Daddy's Burger Bar. The perfect combination of good times and great food. This season, score big with one of our chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness. Our delicious burgers are made with premium Angus beef, and you can pair it with one of our signature cocktails or a cold craft beer from our huge selection. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and our new location at Cliff Farm, Highway 72 in Madison.
Nice NFL Films music. Welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. This segment of the show is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center. The Orthopedic Center is there for you no matter what type of injury you may have gotten. It might have been a work injury or an accident or something like that, or it might have been an injury that you got playing the sport that you love. TOC is there for you, where thousands of area residents have gotten world-class care from the Valley's most trusted and experienced group of orthopedic surgeons and medical specialists. It's TOC. If you have an orthopedic problem and consider professional care, TOC is the only logical choice. Stay in the game with TOC. All right, before we get to John Boy Dua Maguga, this is amazing. Okay, for those of you out there, my fishing friends, and look, we live in an area of the country that, fishing's huge, all right, in our area of the country. There's no doubt about it. A lot of fishing fans out there. You guys, you know that I'm the host of Bassmaster Radio, and my attention is split today here. Got so much that's going on, but I've got over here to my left in the studio
bass, and if it's not the biggest bass, it's going to be second and third biggest bass.
I got that going on.
Is it possible that we could have the biggest bass?
It's a Bassmaster Elite event at Lake Okeechobee. I got baseball on. I got the Braves on across the way here. Braves playing the Marlins. So I got that going on as well. But I got to tell you this, fishing guys, listen to what I'm just about to tell you. So the top 4 anglers after day one yesterday in that Bassmaster Elite at Okeechobee, all were fishing right next to each other. And when I mean right next to each other, I mean bumper to bumper. They were like all lined up. They're all friends. They went to one spot, and they were all fishing together in the same area. So all 4 of those guys went back to that spot today, and the fish weren't biting. They were doing nothing. And they were all bumper to bumper again. And slowly one guy left and another guy left and another guy left. And the only guy that stayed was Brandon Polinick. He had caught one bass. It was a 4-pounder at 9:00. Everybody else left. And so Polinick stayed in this one spot, which was way up the Kissimmee River, right by the dam. So at 5 minutes to 12 Eastern time, he caught a 3.5 pounder. At 12 o'clock, he caught a 9.5 pounder. At 1 o'clock, he caught another 9.5 pounder. And 13 minutes later, he caught a 7.5 pounder. He has 33 pounds and 5 ounces on 5 keepers. Do the math. That's almost a 7-pound average. That's a lifetime fish for a lot of people. Go to Gunnersville, catch a fish 7 pounds. You feel like you did something. This dude has got 33.5. He now has a 20-pound lead in his tournament. Unbelievable. I got it off my chest. All right, joining me now, a guy that's been in the bowl with me once or twice. And who knows what he's doing when it comes to crunching numbers. Value Line Sports being beta tested as we speak. Get ready to launch this thing. It's John Boy Dewey Magoo. And he is on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. John, welcome back.
Tom.
How are you?
Doing good, Tom. How you doing?
Not as good as Brandon Polinick. Between 12
apparently-
o'clock and
apparently so.
1:13, 9.5 pounder, 9.5 pounder, 7.5 pounder.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
patience is a virtue,
unreal.
I guess. So,
Yeah,
I was
everybody else
listening to the
left.
Yeah, I was listening to the intro music, and I imagined George Blanda running out onto the field. But I could be wrong. I think I may have been the first producer you had who actually played NFL Films music on your show.
That is probably correct. I remember we had a CD back in,
Right,
in
I ordered a CD and
2004. Yeah, we had a CD, and you played them off the CD, is I think
Yeah.
how it worked.
Yeah, that's how we did it back then, man.
Do you remember? Do you know where that? Who's doing that music? Who performs that music?
No, I don't remember.
It's the London
I don't-
Philharmonic.
Okay,
Yeah.
makes sense. Sounds like it.
The London Philharmonic. All right. I hate that we don't get lines for these college games until game day, and I don't know why that is. I don't know if it has to do with betting. I mean, we get it way ahead of time. These teams are, they played a couple of days ago, so it's not like anything is changing between now and then. I mean, football, we get the line a week in advance, and then we get like look ahead lines. I have the lines for opening day of college football right now for the opening day of college football. It's not going to happen for 5 months. But in basketball, you can't get a line. So let's start with Auburn, the number 1 team in the country, going to Kentucky, where Rupp Arena and, really anywhere in Lexington has been a house of horrors over the years for the Auburn Tigers. They are 2-51 in Lexington,
Yeah.
Rupp
So
Arena
let's
or
talk about
otherwise.
that for
They
a
are
minute.
2-51. Does it matter tomorrow?
No, it doesn't matter tomorrow. But here's what's interesting about that. Auburn's last win at Rupp was in 1988. Now, here's the interesting. Nobody else you talk to, Tom, is going to have this tidbit of info on this game. So, do you know at all how Auburn won that game?
John Kaler hit a 3 in the final seconds to win
John
53-52.
John Kaler from Morristown, Tennessee, my hometown, and hit the big 3-pointer to win that game. And I actually worked with his mother. And so
we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
Yeah.
That
part, that's the part we didn't know, is that you worked with his mom. That's the part we didn't know. I did have that. I had that in the open of the show. The last time they won was in 88 on January 9th when John Kaler hit the 3-pointer in the final seconds of the game to win 53-52. But I didn't say, and John Boy Dewey Magoo used to work with John Kaler's mom. I didn't say that part.
Yeah, I mean, he was from my hometown. But here's the thing: John Kaler was he had no speed, he had no hops, but the guy could shoot. Man, he could shoot lights out. But so if you look around for some lines, you can kind of see this is going to probably fall in the 4.5 to 5.5 point range with Auburn being a road favorite.
So you don't take anything into account to the fact that Auburn hasn't won there in 37 years. That doesn't mean anything, because this is a veteran team. These kids have played there and not won there. and been beaten there before. But you don't think the kids know? Well, the kids must know that. They read.
Well, sure, they know it, but I don't think it's going to come into effect. I mean, Kentucky, they've been decent at home against the spread. If we're going to talk about the spread, they're 9-7. They're 7-4 against the spread against ranked opponents, and they're 5-2 against the spread at home in conference play. But I think I've watched this Auburn team a lot this year, and I watched them the other night against Ole Miss. And I mean, gosh, these guys are so good, Tom.
They are. I mean, they are absolutely amazing. So if this was on a neutral court, what's the line then, do you think?
On a neutral court, Tom, you're probably, looking at anywhere from an 8.5 to 10 points in favor of Auburn. I'd say possibly double digits. Interesting thing about this game that I think is going to be interesting to watch is actually the second half of this game. Both these teams are really second half teams. Auburn's averaging 45.2 points in the second half this season, which is fourth in the nation. Kentucky's averaging 45.3 in the second half, which is third in the nation. So maybe taking a look at a second half over might be something to look at in this game.
Well, and in both teams, Kentucky is third in the country in scoring, right? 85.5 points a game. And I think that the Auburn is 10th. So they score, 80-something points themselves, which would lend to a high 160s on the total. But the difference seems to be
167.
Yeah, but I really like the defense of Auburn when they need it. I think that Auburn is able to crank it up defensively. I think it might be a sucker number. I think if this thing comes in 167, 168, I think it's a little bit of a sucker number, and this game could go under.
Yeah, it could, especially if Kentucky tries to to slow play it a little bit, maybe to keep the game close, and you definitely could see that number go under that total.
Is this all right? So where are you at on the game itself? What are your numbers? The John Boy Dewey Magoo computer for Value Line Sports as we beta test this thing. What do your numbers tell you in terms of where we're going with this game?
Yeah, if you can get in there and you can get it, Auburn at laying 4.5, I like it. I think there's some value there. At 5.5, I probably stay away from it. Maybe I look at a second half play or total play. I think Auburn definitely gets the win at Rupp, but I think it's going to be right around a 5-6 point difference in this game.
What about money line wise? Is there any value in taking Auburn on the money line?
On the money line, you're probably it's going to be close. I don't really see a lot of value there. I mean, Kentucky right now is I think around a plus 168, so you're going to be close to the minus 180, maybe even close to minus 200. If you're taking a look at Auburn. So I really don't like laying numbers that high.
So you like it at 160 at the most, right? You like being in that range I like from a money line standpoint?
160s game, yeah.
All right, so that makes sense there. All right, the other huge game tomorrow is Alabama at Tennessee. This may be for a one spot, a one seed in the big dance coming up because with Florida losing that game to Georgia, that might have opened up a spot. I don't know that if Alabama were to lose this game on the road, maybe puts Tennessee on the top line, but then I think Alabama could get back on the top line by beating Florida. Or certainly by beating Auburn in the final game of the regular season. We'll see what happens in the SEC tournament. But in this one here, talk to me about this because this is an incredible dichotomy of styles. Offense in the country scored 91.5 points a game, going up against the number 3 defense in the country, which only allows 60 points a game. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. It's interesting the kind of the early line you're seeing out there is Tennessee minus 3.5 with a total around 153 to 153.5. What that really tells us, if this was on neutral court, Alabama's probably a 1 to 2 point favorite in this game. And Alabama, they've been really impressive against the spread in conference this year, Tom. I mean, they're 10-5. They're 6-4 against the spread on the road, and they're 7-4 against ranked opponents. At home, Tennessee against the spread, they're 9-6, 6-4 against ranked opponents. But in conference, they're only 7-8 against the spread this season. But you're right. They've been so tough defensively, Tom. And the only thing where I could see a problem, Alabama has turned the ball over more than they're averaging more than 13 turnovers a game. So they definitely have to come up with a way to protect the ball, and they've got to continue. I said this the last time we talked about Alabama and the Auburn game. They've got to keep Tennessee off of the free throw line.
Yeah, and I don't know how you do that because they're going to continue to attack the rim. Does Alabama slow their game down at all in this? They want to run and gun like crazy. They're going to just play their game regardless of Tennessee, because I think that's what Tennessee would want. I think Tennessee would love to see them, kind of play a Tennessee style game. Tennessee's going to want to, I would imagine, use all the shot clock and try and limit possessions for Alabama.
Well, this is a great battle of two fantastic guards too. For Tennessee, you've got probably who I would consider probably be the best true point guard in the conference, maybe one of the tops in the nation. And then obviously Sears for Alabama is a fantastic scorer, drives to the basket well, does so many things well. So I think that's going to be a key matchup. But you're right. Tennessee would love for Alabama to do that. I don't see them doing that. I haven't seen Alabama do that against anybody really this season. So right. I don't look for them to try to adjust their game at all.
Alabama's making 10 threes a game. Tennessee's making 8.5 threes per game. The numbers on this thing are so very close on so many different things. The 3-point percentage, Alabama 35%, and Tennessee 34.5%. I'm looking at the tail of the tape here now. Very, very interesting matchup. What do you think the line's going to be on this thing? What do you think we're going to see for a line here? Obviously, Tennessee has to be a home favorite.
Yeah, I think you're going to see Tennessee around 3.5 point favorite, probably a total around 153 or so. Like I said, on a neutral court, I think Alabama's probably favored by a point. But Tennessee, average and the home court advantage is so big in college basketball. So I think, on a neutral court, these teams are very even. But I kind of give Tennessee the edge in this one, being at home in Knoxville on Saturday.
The only thing is the coach. I look at the coaching matchup, and I feel like Nate Oates is just money in big games, and I feel like Rick Barnes is not. It feels like Rick Barnes, every time they come up to this kind of scenario where something big is on the line, that they end up not playing well. And I wonder about his team, whether they'll be tight, at all in this game. But it's going to be a great game, that's for sure.
Yeah, I almost said Neyland Stadium, the Food City Arena up there. It's kind of a cavern. I mean, it's very cavernous, so it's kind of a unique place to play. And you have to, some teams have trouble adjusting when it comes to shooting there.
Last time I was in that arena, it was for the Bassmaster Classic weigh-in, and there was 15,000 people in that arena to watch people weigh in little green fish. It was crazy. Yeah. It's nuts. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you as always. Great stuff, and we'll look forward to seeing how this goes. So you're saying take Tennessee. If it's at what line? If it's what 3.5?
I like Tennessee. I like Tennessee up to 3.5.
So Tennessee up to 3.5. Take Tennessee. Auburn up to 4.5.
Yeah,
laying up to 4.5.
I like that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there we go. We'll see how he does with these picks. You got any gems for the weekend? You got any little sneaky little game that you really like?
One I'm really looking at. I'm really interested in this Texas A&M Florida game. I haven't had a lot of time to really dive into it yet, but I think that's going to be one of the better games of the weekend this weekend.
Yeah. Two teams looking to bounce back after losses. I mean, Florida losing on the road to Georgia. Georgia may have played their way into the tournament, and then Vanderbilt going to Texas A&M and getting a win there. Vandy's been a great story this season as well. They got some huge wins. All right, man. Appreciate you. Have a great weekend.
You too, Tom. Thanks.
We're going to break in here. When we come back, we'll go open lines. Brandon is up first, and you can jump in line behind him, 256-576-4977. It's the Thom Abraham Show. Back with more in a moment.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSIN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For a limited time, GBank is offering a $250 bonus when you open a GBank Visa Signature Card. Apply today at vsin.com/GBank.
College baseball action coming up today. The Auburn Tigers at Auburn 88 favorite over the Ohio State Buckeyes plus 145. It's South Alabama, $1.35 favorite against Jacksonville plus 105. Coming up in the Grapefruit League, it's the Braves at $1.20 favorite at the Marlins plus 100. College basketball today, Troy laying 8.5 against Southern Mississippi, 144.5 the total. South Alabama laying 12.5 at home at Louisiana, 134.5 the total there. NASCAR, Circuit of the Americas at Austin, Texas. Shane Van Gisbergen is a plus 450 favorite. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Are you ready to be part of something bigger? Here at Qualys, we don't just support our national security and space programs. We fuel them with cutting-edge technology. From defending our nation to pushing the boundaries of space, Qualys is where innovation meets impact. Join a team driven by purpose, powered by critical technologies, and committed to making a difference. Your skills, your passion, our mission, where your career and your future takes flight. Apply now at qualys-corp.com.
Hey, do you have heating and air issues as the springtime starts to roll around? Hey, there's just one name you need to know. Talent Heating and Air. #1 heating and air business right here in the Tennessee Valley.
Yeah, we're locally based. If you call, you're going to get somebody based in Huntsville. Mentioned spring earlier, we can actually do indoor air quality products, so we can help alleviate those allergy problems you're having in your house.
All right, Thomas from Talent Heating and Air, give them the number that when they call, somebody live and local will pick up.
That's 256-503-4490.
And you can always head to the World Wide Web and find Talent Heating and Air, and you guys will still respond.
That's talenthvac.com. If you don't want to talk to a person right away, you can fill out a form on there and get scheduled for a visit.
That's Talent Heating and Air. They're live, they're local. It's Talent Heating and Air.
AL certain number 21014.
We are your home for March Madness.
Hit the corner. James, right corner three. Oh, it's a Tennessee blitz. The Volunteers dominating the Creighton Blue Jays in the second half.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I got to be honest with you. I don't think I ever heard this one. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say I've never heard this one, John.
A little too old for you?
I don't ever remember that one. That was at NFL Films?
It was 10 years after you were born.
1970. I don't ever remember that one.
From Volume 2.
When I was a little boy then. Still don't remember it.
We'll start reeling it back in.
I just don't know. All right, welcome back. Tom Abraham Show. Let's get to the lines. Brandon is up. Brandon, welcome to the show. How are you?
Well, I got some reminders that popped up on the phone that I figured I would share with you.
Okay. What do you got for reminders?
We've got Cardinals at Braves Wednesday, April 23rd at 12:15 Businessman Special.
Ooh.
And then the other one is Nationals at Braves Thursday, May 15th at 12:15 p.m.
Okay, hang on one second here. Let me open up the calendar. What was the first date? The Cardinals game? That's a sexier game, but what was it? What date was that?
The 23rd, Wednesday the 23rd at 12:15.
Wednesday the 23rd. Got to check
April.
the Trash Panda schedule and make sure that that's not an education day when I would be at the education day for the Trash Panda. So Wednesday the 23rd is a midday game in Atlanta with the Cardinals. Boy, I like that. You think we'd be able to score tickets from our guy? You know the guy, even the upper deck ones that we had last time? Not upper deck, the mezzanine ones that we had last time. What do you think?
I'll work on see what I could do with that one, and then the patio, the yard house patio.
Oh, that guy the yard house guy loves us. I mean, the yard house, unless it's a different yard house guy, the yard house does. I mean, there was no doubt about that. Let's see. Let me just check their schedule here. Joe, John, you don't know off the top of your head Trash Panda schedule?
No idea.
Let your mind know that. No,
I'm too busy looking
because I'm doing those education day games at the Trash Pandas. Let's see what we got here. Oh, games.
I wasn't sure which one.
Would you say April 23rd?
The affiliate day.
Oh, it's an education day against Birmingham, April 23rd. I got to do that. I'll be doing that game down. Oh, I love that opportunity, though, because it's the Birmingham Barons and the Rocket City Trash Panda game on April 23rd, education day presented by Wade 31. So I'll be there for that one. What was the other date? The November or the May one?
Versus the Nationals.
May 15th versus the Nationals is open.
Which might get a little chippy.
That's a Thursday. That's Thursday. That's a Thursday. Why would that get chippy?
Man, most of my people don't like Nationals.
Oh, we don't like the Nationals. I mean, there's no doubt you don't like the Nationals, but I didn't know that it would get chippy necessarily.
You would see more bad mouthing going on than what you would see against the Cardinals, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I like that one.
Mid-May.
Mid-May. Start efforting that one. Start efforting that one. That looks like an open spot. Start efforting that one a little bit. Then we'll see. We'll see who makes the cut, who gets to go.
Can we can we get at least one person on the show, Joe Hunt, John Abraham, in the tool race? To race the tools?
I don't know if we can get him. Yeah, I don't know if we can get him in that race. I'm not sure about that.
We could tell them.
John, you have to answer that question.
Yeah, we could tell them that I've done one of the races before, just for a minor league team. I think they'd be fine with it.
We might could do where they give you the head start race and the freeze. Y'all have a 2-man tag.
Oh my gosh, Joe would have a heart attack. And
the freeze.
I don't know if I could make it that distance.
Yeah, Joe,
I'll do it.
I don't know that either one of you guys probably should do that. I want to race the freeze, but I'm gonna go on to like a 4-wheeler or something like that. We got Chipper Jones's 4-wheeler that he saved Freddie Freeman with when it snowed that day. So I'm looking for.
Well, that popped up, and I wanted to ask you, the guy that caught the 30 pounds and 3 catches, what was his name?
33, Brandon Polinick, 2 9.5-pounders and a 7.5-pounder in an hour. And now he's got 33 pounds on the day for 5 fish. It's unbelievable.
Sounds like he might be from the Garden, winning like that.
Man,
where's this guy from?
Yeah, I mean, he's leading by 20 pounds. He's actually from Ratham, South Dakota, where he's from.
Winning the lead by 20 pounds. When's the last time you said that?
Yeah, he's leading by 20 pounds. I mean, that is very, very rare. All right, Brandon, good job by you.
Well done.
All right, when we come back, open lines remain. Remember last year, EA Sports paid every kid in college football that signed up to be in the game $600, and then they had these record sales, and the kids are saying, yeah, not so much $600 this time. We're not taking $600 and a copy of the game. I'll explain right after this. Thom Abraham Show.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
But you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life?
This is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Timberwolves superstar Anthony Edwards facing an automatic one-game suspension after picking up 2 technical fouls in the loss to the Lakers, giving him 16 on the season, unless one of the T's against LA gets rescinded upon review by the NBA league office. Edwards will have to miss tonight's game in Utah. A vow from Isaiah Bond that he will break Xavier Worthy's record 40-yard dash time at the NFL Combine tomorrow. Anticipates running a 4.20, or if he's feeling great, he said he might run a 4.1. Worthy, also a former Texas Longhorn, ran a record 4.21 last year. Chiefs drafted him in the first round. Quarterback Cam Ward, in the running to be the top overall pick in April's draft, won't throw at the Combine tomorrow. Said his tape speaks for itself, and he'll throw at Miami's Pro Day. And other NFL news, Eagles are hiring Bowling Green coach Scott Loeffler as their quarterbacks coach.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Conference USA is bringing its premier basketball event back to the Rocket City. Don't miss the 2025 Conference USA Basketball Championships, March 11th through the 15th at the VBC Probst Arena, featuring 20 men's and women's basketball teams playing 18 games with CUSA titles and NCAA automatic bids on the line. Find out who's going to be putting on their dancing shoes. Tickets as low as $40. Visit Ticketmaster.com today to experience Conference USA hoops in the Rocket City, March 11th through 15th.
Sometimes the coolest little gems are found a little off the beaten path, and that's exactly where you will find Hickory Store Barbecue. They are on Blake Bottom Road, just east of Jeff Road, and it's definitely worth the trip. The smokers are going on site daily, and they have the best smoked wings around. You'll love the fireplace and the covered patio, and best of all, Hickory Store Barbecue is locally owned and operated by the McAlpins. They even have rotating craft beer taps and live music weekly. Hickory Store Barbecue. Go see what you're missing. Blake Bottom Road in Monrovia. You'll thank me later.
The best in local sports talk from the 256. We are local.
When you're number one, you don't have to worry.
We are award-winning. Thank you for listening. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You'll be set for life.
Need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you. So settle in and get your bark on. Here he is, the big dog, Thom Abraham.
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Dale McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off, Michael.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here. Oh, yeah, baby. That music can only mean one thing. It can only mean it's football Friday. Football music throughout the show, even though we should have a huge basketball weekend coming up. Big SEC basketball weekend. Man, did they time this out right? Auburn at Kentucky, Alabama at Tennessee. Huge games. Huge games. A lot of minutia to get in as well. Captain Cool is in mixing the show in place of Joe Hunk. Joe is down at UAH getting ready to do a UAH basketball game that is coming up. And John has a really cool Browns sweatshirt on today, and he's eating something. And I can't quite tell exactly what it is that you're munching on there, young man. What is it? What is it that you got?
It's a full moon cookie. It's just dipped in
really?
chocolate. And Steve just dropped it off for me. And
from Full Moon Barbecue.
Mm-hmm. And
that's all the way down the street, like 2 doors down.
Yeah.
Full Moon.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's not far.
Took him like 2 seconds to go down and grab it. But I mean, for anybody who's living around the North Alabama area, I mean, it's just right down the road. And to make it even easier, Big Zone deals. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, I mean, you got your Big Zone deals there for Full Moon Barbecue, which is really good. We got a special on there for Carrabba's. Now, you're not the only one that's eating during this lunchtime show. Oh, look at! I see Steve's head. I see Steve's head eating. What is he eating now? Oh, it's a barbecue sandwich.
I didn't know we were allowed to eat
sandwich. Yeah. Well, not in the studio. We probably should have, but in the Big Dog Production Studio, we're eating as well, as you see here. I'm about to munch on a Hot Pocket, John. You used to do videos about Hot Pockets. I know you were a big Hot Pocket fan. That's my lunch today. Is this Hot Pocket thing?
Real question is, what flavor is it?
Bacon, egg, and cheese breakfast Hot Pocket.
No,
with the flaky crust on it. That's going to be lunch today. I'm eating lunch during the thing because I have something going on here shortly after the show. So I'm gonna knock this down here. I don't know when. I guess during a commercial break is when we'll get to it. Phone lines are open. You want to jump on board? You can do it at 256-576-4977. It'll get you in. We welcome those of you that are watching on WZZN TV as well, our YouTube channel, and on X. You can check that out. Hopefully you have by now. We got listeners that are listening over the apps. We got listeners that are listening over the air. And everybody gets to use the same phone number, 256-576-4977. 97.7. Don't forget the text window is always open, 7329 TA show at 732-982-7469. That is a great way to communicate with us. I have an X feed that is at Thom Abraham Show as well, and you can go in there and see whatever it is that we're doing there. Don't forget about your Big Zone deals as well. John was just referring to it. We've got a special on for Carrabba's Italian Grill while supplies last, just $20 for 2 $25 gift certificates. I mean, you do the math. $20 for $50 worth of Carrabba's. That is good for you as well. We got more great deals coming up too. Coming up later on in this hour of the show, Steve Merrill will join us from Wager Talk TV. We'll get his take on the big games that are coming up this weekend. We talked a little bit about Cam Ward and the fact that he now is also not going to throw and participate in any of the drills in Indianapolis, which I think is total BS. He says that there's 5 years of film out there for him for people to evaluate. I don't like it. I say, young man, you get out there and you let it rip. All right. You get out there and you get it going and you let it rip. All right. Ward and Shadur Sanders are thought to be the first, the only first round quarterbacks, possibly Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart will throw at the combine because Jackson Dart is trying to get it to the point where, he can move on up. And have people take a good look at him. I think you compete. I think you get out there, and I think you compete. That's what I think you do. All right. Get to the lines. Is that General Harry? I think that's our Colonel Harry. I'm not sure exactly what the rank was when he left the service, but he joins us now. Harry, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great, Tom. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
So Tom, I got two things for you. I've been a Southeastern Conference fan my entire life, and I've been an Auburn fan since 1962, listening to it on an AM radio coming out of Columbus, Georgia. And I'd point to my grandfather and my father and say, well, we could watch it on TV. And he'd say, well, we can't get the chores done, son. So get back to work.
And you didn't have earbuds. You didn't have earbuds to put in while you were doing your chores either. You had to put that transistor radio in your back pocket and try and get some work done.
No, we'd usually be out on the countryside cutting something or building something. And he had an old tube radio that we'd listen to the Nashville on Friday night. But we would stay busy. But so I've been a radio fan my whole life. But two things I want to point out. I can't remember in my lifetime a Southeastern Conference title in such contention this late in the season with so many ranked teams in the conference. So that's testimony to the emphasis that the commissioner placed on basketball several years ago, and it's come to fruition. And our football conference is now leading the nation in the basketball conference also. So it's kudos to the commissioner, but also to the state of Alabama right now, because if you look across the spectrum, men's basketball is just lighting it up across all divisions across the country. All eyes are on Alabama. The other thing I wanted to share with you is I totally agree with you. Ware needs to be showing that he can do it at the next level, not complacency and come spend your money on me. Jackson Dart knows he's trying to play his way onto a team, and he'd throw it in a Walmart parking lot if he'd get a crowd to look at it. And that's what it's going to take. You have to get hungry. I'm turned off on pro football. I watch it a little bit of times during the playoff, but during the season, I don't pay much attention to it because it's become such a game of rich people playing the game, and the fans are taking a beating on it by having to put up with all that stuff through the week. But again, I enjoy your show. I enjoy your objectivity, and you got a listener for life for me.
Well, I appreciate you so much, Harry. I appreciate your texts as well that you send to the show. I always get some good information from you when you text the show, so keep listening and keep texting.
You take care, Tom. God bless.
All right, thank you. God bless you, too. There's a guy. That's old school right there. That's old school. I think he's like he always signs his thing Auburn class of 74. Something like that.
Okay,
the Auburn class of 74.
He would know the old hits that I'm going to be playing throughout the show. Okay.
Probably, but he doesn't. He's not a. You already said he's not really. And this is something. It's weird. This is something you hear a lot in this part of the country about the NFL. Even though the Tennessee Titans are right there, and there's an NFL team, and even though we still have huge ratings, I mean, more people still watch an NFL game by far than watch a college game. I mean, it's an average Sunday afternoon is 23, 24 million people watching the NFL, while, a good college game on a Saturday, 8, 9 million, a big one, more typically 5, 6 million. But there's a million games on Saturday, and you see all of that. 17 million watched the Iron Bowl this year. That's a low watched game in the NFL, unlike college basketball versus the NBA. Alabama, the last 2 weekends against what was it, Kentucky and Auburn, those games the last 2 weekends had more viewers than just about any NBA game all year long. So college basketball now, and I just can't get I keep trying to get myself to watch the NBA some. I was like all fired up because Luka Doncic was playing for the Lakers the other night against the Mavericks, and it was the first time he was going against the Mavericks. I was trying to sell the game. If there's a game you want to watch, you watch this game. I turned it on for like 30 seconds. I had it on for 30 seconds and turned it off. All the basketball I need is in the college game. I really feel that way. College football has surpassed the NFL for me as well. I mean, if you told me I could only have one or the other, it's a college football Saturday. But I still do love the NFL. Maybe I would feel different if I had a team that was any good in the NFL. But I am so annoyed with people saying that they want to be traded or they're not going to play and not honoring contracts. And now these players, these are still college guys. These guys coming out of college and saying, we're not going to throw. Caleb Williams didn't throw. Jaden Daniels didn't throw. Guys aren't throwing. Bo Nix threw. And now we're getting from Shadur Sanders isn't going to throw. Cam Ward isn't going to throw. Jackson Dart's going to throw. So we'll see. So last year, college players got $600 a piece from EA Sports and a copy of the game so that EA Sports could depict their likenesses for the first time in 11 years. Now, remember, Arch Manning wasn't going to do it. You remember that, John?
I do.
Arch Manning was like, nah, I'm not doing this. And so Arch Manning ended up pulling big bucks from EA Sports to do it. I mean, they needed to have Arch Manning, so he went ahead and got in the game, but they paid him a lot more money than anybody else. He didn't do it for no $600. Do you know how much EA Sports paid Arch Manning, who hadn't played a minute yet, to be in the game last year?
I'm going to say it had to be 6 digits.
No, it wasn't 6 digits.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
It's between $50,000 and $60,000. And then he promoted the game as well. Remember, he did the commercial that, I'm in the game.
I mean, it's a second-string quarterback regardless of how much he's getting paid, but it's a player that you feel like you need to. With the name alone, it's going to sell some more copies.
You had to have him. 14,000 players apparently took the $600. And College Football 25 had more sales revenue than any other sports video game ever, surpassing NBA 21 or 2K 21. Ever. More than any Madden game ever. Now, the question is, how many people, remember with college football, you have even more turnover than you do in the NFL, turns over faster. So how many people are going to buy, NCAA 26 or CFB 26, whatever they call it? I don't know. John, will you buy the new one?
No. I played a little bit of the first one. The most excited I got was during SEC Media Days. That was probably also the most I played.
So you didn't do it? You didn't play it much during the season?
I didn't play it much. I will be honest with you.
You play Madden much?
Not really. I mean,
really?
I've kind of gotten away from those games. The most sports game that I play is still going to be, yes, very much so. Always. It'll never get old. Whereas the NFL and the college football games, although it's like one of the best sports in my opinion, it comes down to the same thing almost every single year. Whereas with hockey, it's just so unpredictable that it's a little bit more fun for me.
So there's an NIL group that manages kids, and the company is called Pathway. And more than 600 players have signed on with Pathway from schools like Alabama, Georgia, Oregon. The group's goal is to get every scholarship FBS player signed up. And Pathway is paying each player $1,500 up front for their rights, with the goal of negotiating a licensing deal, which is worth a lot more to players than the $600, potentially including royalties for each game sold. Just think about the genius behind this. So what Pathway is saying is that, look, don't take that $600 deal. We'll give you $1,500, and then we're going to control your rights. We'll negotiate a deal for you that's much better than $600, and then Pathway will get a piece of that to recover their $1,500. It's genius.
So what you're telling me though is we're probably going to get to 26 with these college football games, and then we're going to be void without them for another 10 years.
You're not going to get you're going to get to 26, and 26. The only way that EA Sports is going to get to put the stars from the big time schools in the game is if they negotiate a better deal than $600.
It sounds like how it was back whenever these players weren't getting paid in the first place. They wanted to get paid, and now it's to the point where they are going to want to get paid too much. And the game is an EA.
They can afford it.
I don't think they will. I just don't think they will.
Why wouldn't they? I mean, why would they just forego? I mean, incredible numbers. Because they got to pony up a little bit more money for the players.
Give it a few years, and you're not going to see the sales like they were in that first initial release of 25.
No, you won't. But what do you do? How do you get new players in? You know what I mean? If can you go online and add players that way?
Well,
I don't know.
You can. This is another problem that they had in the past was you could always edit the players. So people used to just edit the players, the entire roster of all of the college football teams. And then they used to have them online so people could download them and then just put them in the game regardless.
For a fee.
It was free.
What?
Yeah, people used to just do it for free.
Really? All right, let's get a break. We got another segment coming up, and then we're going to have Steve Merrill join us, and we're going to go back to Alabama, Tennessee with him, get his thoughts on that game and on Auburn, Kentucky. Alabama, number 1 in the country in scoring offense, rebounds per game, and defensive rebounds per game. Number 1 in the SEC on 3-point attempts and 3-point percentage and 3-pointers made per game. It's incredible. But they're going up against the best defense in the country, or just about the best defense in the country in Tennessee. All right, we'll get a break. We'll come back. Phone lines remain open. 256-576-4977. Get you into the show. More in a moment.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For a limited time, GBank is offering a $250 bonus when you open a GBank Visa signature card. Apply today at vsin.com/GBank.
College baseball action coming up today. The Auburn Tigers, an Auburn 88 favorite over the Ohio State Buckeyes, plus 145. It's South Alabama, $1.35 favorite against Jacksonville, plus 105. Coming up in the Grapefruit League, it's the Braves, another 20 favorite at the Marlins, plus 100. College basketball today, Troy laying 8.5 against Southern Mississippi, 144.5 the total. South Alabama laying 12.5 at home at Louisiana, 134.5 the total there. NASCAR, Circuit of the Americas at Austin, Texas, Shane Van Gisbergen is a plus 450 favorite. For more, go to vsin.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer again. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is extremely proud to have recently received numerous awards, including being voted best wings in the state of Alabama. Other awards received include Best All-Around Restaurant, Best American Restaurant, #1 Sports Bar, Best Chef, Best Wings, and Best Dining Experience. Thank you for 43 legendary years, and we look forward to providing you an award-winning dining experience at every visit. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Hey, do you have heating and air issues as the springtime starts to roll around? Hey, there's just one name you need to know: Talent Heating and Air. #1 heating and air business right here in the Tennessee Valley.
Yeah, we're locally based. If you call, you're going to get somebody based in Huntsville. Mentioned in spring earlier, we can actually do indoor air quality products, so we can help alleviate those allergy problems you're having in your house.
All right, Thomas from Talent Heating and Air, give them the number that when they call, somebody live and local will pick up.
That's 256-503-4490.
And you can always head to the World Wide Web and find Talent Heating and Air, and you guys will still respond.
That's talenthvac.com. If you don't want to talk to a person right away, you can fill out a form on there and get scheduled for a visit.
That's Talent Heating and Air. They're live, they're local. It's Talent Heating and Air.
AL certain number 21014.
97.7 The Zone.
Now on Saturday, you are willing to give a little extra. Then you, because of your preparation, things I'm trying to get across to you. And if we do that as a team, 11 at the time, 4 years from now, why, we'll be walking out of here national champion. And I'll tell you this, I expect nothing less.
97.7 The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Stuart Dressman. A sunny sky this afternoon. Going to be a fantastic Friday across the Tennessee Valley. Maybe just a touch on the breezy end of the spectrum, but that's okay. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid 60s. We're dropping into the mid 40s as we head into the overnight early Saturday morning and mostly to partly sunny sky Saturday afternoon. Once again, temperatures climbing into the lower 60s. Going to be colder Saturday night early into Sunday morning. Temperatures actually going to drop into the lower 30s across the Tennessee Valley and then colder through Sunday afternoon under a mostly sunny sky. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
That's a good one. Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. This segment of the show is brought to you by Owen Home Appliance, where it's laundry season at Owen Home Appliance Center. And it's also home show season, which is coming up here in a week from today. A week from today, we will be at the home show at the VBC with Owen Home Appliance Center. So we'll be down there and we'll be able to see all those great washers and dryers like the Maytag and the GE and the Whirlpool and Electrolux and, of course, the Speed Queens down there. I'll have all of that, I'm sure, down there. And I don't know if they're going to have the 2-in-1 GE profile that washes and dries a load all in one machine. But you can check it out at the interactive location at Lacey Springs. And you can even take some clothes down there and they can wash them and dry them for you, just so you get an idea of how everything works. It's Owen Home Appliance Center. Quality products, quality pricing, and quality service. It's in the name at Owen Home Appliance Center. Come out and see me next Friday at the home show at the Owen Home Appliance Center is where we will be there. Great guys. Mike Owen and his team, they do such a excellent job. All right, phone lines are open. If you want to get in, you can do it here on a Football Friday with a lot of basketball in the show. 256-576-4977. Get you into the show. By the way, they're halfway through a baseball game. I know it's spring training, but the Braves are leading the Marlins by a score of 2-0, and they have no hit the Marlins so far in the fifth inning now there. So we'll just keep an eye on it. It's spring training. But I've always said, everybody says nothing, forget about spring training. I think you can develop a winning attitude in spring training. I don't think it's a terrible thing to win. I mean, any game is better to win than to lose. So I don't think it's an awful thing to get out there during spring training and do a little damage. All right. Back to the NFL with all of the NFL muckety mucks in Indianapolis. The tush push continues to be a point of contention for the league. Now, we told you earlier it's going to take 75% of the league to vote to remove it if they want to get this out of the game. Because, shoving a runner or aiding the runner which is what the call was, wasn't allowed in the NFL until 2005. I mean, it was never a thing. You couldn't get, this wasn't rugby. This is something that's just been in the last 20 years. And I'm surprised it's been that long since they allowed it. It doesn't seem to be that long ago that weren't allowed to aid the runner. And the reason that the shove was no longer banned was because it became too difficult to officiate, according to Mike P., who was the NFL director of officiating at the time. Well, that's kind of BS. That's pretty obvious when someone's pushing the pile, aiding the runner, as it used to be called. To me, it's easy to call. You can't get behind a guy and push the guy. Guy's got to go on his own steam. How is this a difficult thing to call? You just can't push a guy. And this is just not an Eagles thing, by the way. There are other teams that used it as well, even at a higher rate of success. The league average for the past 3 seasons for the push, if you will, is 84%, with the Lions going 7 for 7 doing it. The Cowboys are 92% on 25 attempts. The 49ers are 91% on 33 tries. Philly has done it 92 times, converting 91.3%. Buffalo uses it all the time. And they're in the high 80s. I say just get it out of the game. But not only would I get it out of the game, I think you should have a little more creativity. I'd use a big guy on a quarterback sneak without the shove. John, you know how athletic these guys are now. I mean, you could have a guy that is the, a 280-pound left guard that can take a snap, get him under center, and let him take the snap and go forward. Let's see you stop him.
It'd be like
his own tush push.
It'd be like Pee Wee football at that point.
Well, just saying. Instead of can you imagine Myles Garrett on the tush push? How would you stop the guy?
Yeah, I mean, there's room to make it even more of a cheesy play, and I'm not fully against it, but it's a little too rugby for me, and I know it's been said 1,000 times, but I don't know. It's one of those things that's hard to take out because it is hard-nosed football, but again, I mean, it is a little bit of a under the carpet type of move, and there's still room to make it even more iffy, I would say, in the league's rules.
I think you just get it out. You just get it out of the game altogether. It's not a football play. And this is not anti-Eagle talk. I love Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts squats 600 pounds. He doesn't need to have a guy pushing him. I don't think he needs that. I just think you get it out of the game altogether. Now, other things that the league is looking at is making overtime the same in the regular season as it is in the playoffs, which I think is a great idea. That 10-minute overtime in the regular season, it's like, really? How many overtime games do you have a year that, we don't want to overtax the guys. We can't play 15 minutes. We got to play 10 minutes. Well, sometimes you barely get, each team gets a possession and that's it. The clock runs out. We don't want ties. I think you make it the same as it is in the playoffs, which is 15 minutes and at least one possession for each team, regardless of score. I like that too. See, in the playoffs, they don't have that thing where if you possession, the game is over. That went away with the Chiefs and the Bills in 2022. They don't do that. What they do now is, in the playoffs, even if you score a touchdown on your first possession, they turn around and you got to kick off and play defense. And I like that. You go ahead and get that done. They're also talking about using the expedited replay, the quick replay that the guy can see for a call to call a penalty, not just to pick one up. See, right now they use that expedited replay just to pick up a penalty. Like they'll call a penalty on the field and then they'll say, no, that wasn't. And they wave off the flag. Now they're talking about possibly using it to call a penalty. Now, expansion that is under consideration for this upcoming season includes roughing the passer, hitting him below the knee. No. I say no. Unnecessary roughness of a defenseless receiver or player. I say no. No, I don't need some guy sitting in the booth throwing a flag for unnecessary roughness. You could pick the flag up on that now. You don't need to throw a flag on that. Face mask. Yes. That's the one thing I would like to see them be able to throw from upstairs.
Amen.
Because we see that, John, like in 10 seconds. I mean, there'll be a play, and the guy's head goes around like Linda Blair in The Exorcist. The head spins around, and then nobody throws a flag. And then they show the first replay, and you see, oh, look, guy was looking out his ear hole.
Sam Darnold against the Rams earlier on in the season. Jeez.
I mean, that's easy to call, right? You see that, well, wait a minute. They just got through the fifth inning, still a no-hitter for the Braves against the Marlins. It's like, wait, what? Just throw that. Hey, there was a face mask. It would take, literally, the ball would barely be placed down. And they would already have said, no, that's not that's a face mask right there. There was a face mask. Yeah, call the face mask from upstairs. Tripping, no, I don't need that. Illegal crackback block, no, I don't need that called from upstairs. Horse collar tackle. I think get the horse collar tackle called pretty much most of the time. I mean, how many times have you seen a horse collar tackle and said, hey, that was a horse collar? They usually call that. They call that. I'm not gonna go. I don't. The only one I need called from upstairs is the face mask. You see the face mask, call the face mask from upstairs. You could do that.
It's the holiest day of the week, the Friday trifecta.
There's no Friday trifecta. Paulie, there is no Friday trifecta today. I just want you to know that.
Oh, my God. This is what I live for. This is why I go to church.
I know.
Friday trifecta. It's the holiest day of the week.
I know. It is. It is.
Oh, my God.
I was going to do one. It was going to be Tennessee. It was going to be Alabama, Tennessee, and Auburn, Kentucky.
I thought you were going to.
But I got no line.
Basketball. Oh,
yeah, well, we are, but we're talking about it. But I got no line or anything, so I thought, nah, I'm not going to do it.
What am I going to do with you? What?
Well, I hear you. I feel you.
You're talking about. I heard you talking about the calls for the NFL. What's going to come from upstairs, right?
Well, they're talking about adding things that they can throw a flag. Right now, upstairs, they can only pick up a flag. Now they're saying, well, can we call a flag from upstairs? And the only thing that I would want to call a flag from upstairs would be the face mask. Everything else, just let them call it in.
I think passing, what's your quarterback, when you get to, too much. What they say? I can't even.
Roughing the passer, or when the quarterback runs. I don't want that called from upstairs. They call that enough.
No,
let them call it on the field.
I want them to review it. Like, no, that's not a flag. He didn't hit him in the face. He didn't touch his head. That kind of stuff. That's what
they do.
That's what I'm.
They can do that now. They can pick up the flag for roughing the passer, or but they need to be able to do it like on that slide. When Patrick Mahomes slides and the two defenders go over the top of him and they barely touch him and they hit each other. They needed to be able to pick that up. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Exactly, stuff like that. Last second. Remember these guys move at 4.2. 4.2 speed.
Yeah.
It's tough to stop on a dime. It's tough to put your head in your wallet so you don't get used. Oh, he used his head as a spear and had contact.
Yeah, well, especially when the guy's actually in the air. Like, what am I supposed to do? Levitate? What is this? The Matrix? I'm supposed to fly over the top of the guy. What's up with that?
Or when the defensive tackle is able to get the leverage and he's pushing a 300-pound man backwards against his will, and now he's going to stop all that inertia and tickle the quarterback? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is, how do you think? Is that easy to do? Push a 300-pound man against his will and then reach out and grab the quarterback? accidentally you touch the chin of the earpiece of the helmet as you're grabbing for him. I mean, come on. I mean, like I said, why do we need defense then? If we can't have a great defensive play, then why? Like, the form, the hit, the decleater. Oh, he hit him too hard. Well, my God, what is he supposed to do? What?
Right.
It's happening. That's what I'm talking about. That's the stuff that needs to reverse. But it's like, my goodness, he form tackled them, but unfortunately, two guys came at each other in lightning speed. What do you think the inertia is going to be when they hit?
Yeah.
I mean, my God. You ever see when
you're right.
those guys get hit? When the guy going to the goal line and he gets hit by the D-back and he flies 5. If you ever watch that from the ground level, it's amazing how that hit and the guy flies 5 feet and he gets up. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so fast. And then the other thing they should be able to look at is that, when a quarterback is baiting the player near the sideline, I'm going to slow down here by the sideline and stay in place so that you can hit me, and then they're going to call a flag. No. Yeah. If you're in the field to play and you slow down like that, you're finna get lit up.
The great Ronnie Lott said, "Do it one time. I'll give you that one pass that but after that, you're getting hit." And Ronnie, that was the law out there on the field. He's going to hit you, dude. Don't go and little jitterbug, and then you're going to just run out of bounds because he's going to hit you. Yeah,
no doubt, no doubt.
All righty, well, go Dolphins! Can't wait for the draft. And then, of course, I wish they bring back the lingerie league. Anyway.
Well, you got the UFL, and they wear clothes and stuff, but you got the UFL. What's wrong with that?
No, you got to watch those. You got to watch the films of those girls playing. Right, that one year it was just amazing. Bring that back.
Yeah.
All righty.
Appreciate it. I don't think the NFL Films does a thing on the lingerie league. Like, John, you got any lingerie league music there? NFL Films music on the lingerie league?
Let me do some research and maybe when we come back.
Not sure we'll have any of that. Any of the lingerie league
Be some
music.
Beyonce or something like that.
Yeah. You get in there and watch some of them old lingerie league videos. Yeah, I'm not too sure I'm doing that. Your roommate might watch them. I'm not sure, but I'm good.
You know him just as well as I do.
Yeah. That dude may be rocking that stuff. You never know. All right, phone lines are open. 256-576-4977 to get you into the show. Steve Merrill will join us for a few minutes, sometime right around 2:45 now. We've backed him up a little bit more. And so we'll do another open line segment. What is it, 139 right now?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, let's just keep it here then. Let's just keep it here for another minute. And then we'll get Steve after the break. Did you see that the grades came out, John? The NFLPA grades on the teams in the NFL. Did you see that?
I actually saw one, and I think it was for the cafeteria food or something like that.
Well, they got everything. Okay. Food and dining. The Miami Dolphins have the best dining room. They were the only ones that got an A+ for food and dining. They got an A+ in that. They got an A+ in nutrition. The Texans, Raiders, 49ers, and Falcons got an A. So good job by the Falcons there. At the other end of the spectrum, let's see. The Cincinnati Bengals got an F. They got an F in food.
Oh, geez. And they're still beating the Browns.
How do you get an F- in something? I mean, the Browns ended up 30th out of 32 teams in the overall ranking. They ended up 30th. Treatment of families, D+. Food and dining, C-. Nutritionists, B-. Locker room, F-. How do you get an F- in your locker room? Training room, D+. Training staff, C-. Strength coach is B+.
Hey,
weight room, A. They got an A for the weight room.
I was about to say, because Myles Garrett wasn't gaining all that weight just because it was a bad, I would say, mid-C weight room. No, it's got to be an A.
This one was surprising to me. Head coach C, 30th. A C for the head coach. I think the head coach is outstanding. A D for travel. And then ownership got a C+. Dang.
Ownership should be an F.
Now, you think so?
From my perspective, yes.
They got an F- in the locker room. 39% of players feel they have enough room in their individual locker, which is 32nd out of 32. 29% of players feel that the locker room is adequate in size, which is 31st out of 32. The head coach, 67% of players feel their head coach is efficient with their time, which is ranked 29 out of 32. The players feel that Stefanski is moderately receptive to locker room feedback and the team needs, ranking him 30 of 32. Owner Jimmy Haslam's average rating for perceived willingness to invest in the facilities is a 7.98 out of 10. That's 21st. The players believe that ownership slightly contributes to a positive team culture. That's 29 out of 32. Players feel the owner is somewhat committed to building a competitive team. That's 29 out of 32. This is just miserable. I'm finna give up on these people. I mean, it's been 60 years. I'm about finna give up on them.
It's not looking good right now.
I'm so fed up. I mean, it's just, Now, last year, who was 30th out of 32 was the Washington Commanders. Now they're 12th. See, winning solves everything. Winning solves everything. You go win some games, all of a sudden everybody loves you, and they think you're great. The Titans landed right smack dab in the middle, 16th out of 32 teams. Their dining area got a B+. Treatment of families, B+. Nutrition, B+. Locker room, C-. Well, that'll get fixed. Their new locker room in their new stadium is going to be amazing. Training room, B-. Training staff, B. Weight room, B. Strength coaches, B+. Team travel, B. How about this? Head coach, A-.
Wow.
For the Titans head coach.
Good for Brian Callahan.
I don't think he's ready. And Amy Adams Strunk, a B. Rating for perceived willingness to invest in facilities is 8.35. That's 19th out of 32. Players feel Strunk is moderately contributes to a positive team culture, 18 out of 32. And the players feel that Strunk is committed to building a competitive team, 20 out of 32. So she's like in the middle of the pack. All right, we'll get a break. When we come back, Steve Merrill will join us with his thoughts on the big games this weekend on the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
In the Army National Guard, soldiers serve part-time and close to home.
My community means everything to me. It helped shape me into who I am today, and is where I choose to raise my own family. That's why I joined the Army National Guard. I'm proud of where I'm from, and as a soldier, I get to give back to the people that helped me succeed. The education benefits I got from serving helped me get my degree and jumpstart my career. The training and leadership skills I've gained from the Army National Guard help me every day when I teach young people, help my neighbors, and look out for my community. I know that when my neighbors need us the most, my fellow soldiers and I will be ready. My family loves it here, and my part-time service means we get to stay here.
Serve part-time in the community you live in as a proud member of the Army National Guard. Talk to your local recruiter or visit NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Alabama Army National Guard. Aired by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
Conference USA is bringing its premier basketball event back to the Rocket City. Don't miss the 2025 Conference USA Basketball Championships March 11th through the 15th at the VBC Probst Arena, featuring 20 men's and women's basketball teams playing 18 games with CUSA titles and NCAA automatic bids on the line. Find out who's going to be putting on their dancing shoes. Tickets as low as $40. Visit Ticketmaster.com today to experience Conference USA hoops in the Rocket City, March 11th through 15th.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunner's Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunner's Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunner's Landing's Club Repair Shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner, unmatched in the North Alabama area. It is Gunner's Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslanding.com. That's gunnerslanding.com.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, "If you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself."
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Thank you. Thank you for making us your #1 choice for sports talk in North Alabama.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
There's a classic right there. That's classic. I want that Braves hat that they're wearing today. Braves spring training hat's pretty cool. Yankee spring training hat is terrible. Pinstriped hat. Ridiculous. So bad. All right, we are awaiting Steve Merrill. He's going to call us, John, for, I don't know if he might be out on location. I'm not sure exactly what the story is, but keep an eye out for Steve Merrill. Let's see. I'm texting while I'm talking to you. I just want to get his take on those 2 games. Certainly want to know where he is at on the 2 big games that are coming up this weekend. Auburn goes to Kentucky, and they're trying to do something they haven't in 37 years, which is win a game at Kentucky. It shouldn't mean anything. It really shouldn't mean anything right now. I mean, this is the 122nd time that these two teams have gotten together, and Kentucky is 51-2 at home. They're 31-2 at Rupp Arena. That means that before Rupp Arena was built, they went 20-0. They've won 20 straight games at home in the series since Auburn won that game on John Kaler, who I don't know if you knew this or not. John Kaler's mother worked with John Boy Dewey-Magoo. Who knew, right?
I knew that actually, just because
who knew?
I was listening to the Thom Abraham show, of course.
That's where you would hear it. Yeah, on the Thom Abraham show. So, but I don't know if any of that means anything now. So let's get Steve Merrill in here for a couple of moments to end the show with us. Steve, welcome to the show. Steve, by the way, on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Steve, welcome in. How are you?
Hey, Tom, doing well.
So Auburn goes to Kentucky, and they haven't won there in 37 years. Does the fact that they haven't won there in 37 years mean anything to you as a handicapper, or is it all about these numbers?
Normally it would mean something, but the fact that I think Auburn's the better team, we kind of throw that out because of all those other years. I would say Kentucky 90% of the time was the better team. I will use that, though. I always get something from you every week, Tom. I'll have my top 25 video up tonight on WagerTalk.com, WagerTalk TV, and I will point out, you said 37 years they have not won Kentucky.
37 years. Last time they won there was on January 9th of 1988 when John Kaler made a three-pointer at the buzzer to beat Kentucky 53-52. Kentucky is 51-2 at home against Auburn. I mean, and in Rupp Arena, they're 31-2. They've won 20 straight at home. So it just gives you just a second of pause. The discrepancy is pretty big to Auburn's favor here. Kentucky for so many years is so great. Auburn, not as much. And so you would think that Auburn has a excellent opportunity in this game. You wonder about the back number. By the way, Bruce Pearl himself, when you include his time at Tennessee, Bruce Pearl's only beaten Kentucky once in his entire career. So, there's that too. But I don't know that means anything about this particular game. Do you have any idea what you think the line might be? I haven't seen any numbers yet on it.
Yeah, I mean, my raw mathematical projection would have Auburn by 5. So I think Auburn will definitely be a road favorite. We'll see if it comes that high or not. And, keep in mind, Kentucky has just been a real bipolar team. That's why nothing would surprise me in this game. I think Auburn is the better squad. The one edge I think either team has here is Auburn's the better defensive squad. Both teams are very capable offensively. I would expect the total to be a pretty big number. It'd be hard not to play the over in this one. But once again, Kentucky's been a little shorthanded offensively in recent weeks. It hasn't quite bit them yet. But against maybe the best team in the country, you got to wonder if that might be the difference.
Well, Kentucky's third in the country, 85.5 points scoring, and Auburn's like 10th. So they both score a lot of points. Like you're right. I think it's going to be in the 167 range, 168 range. But it feels like to me, Auburn will beat you 63-62. They can do that. So defensively, they're good enough this year to put the lockdown on somebody. So I wonder if they don't try to play that kind of a game a little bit and not run and gun with with Kentucky. Maybe this thing comes in on them.
Well, yeah, you look at the tempo ratings. I mean, Kentucky's top 40 in pace. They're one of the 10% fastest teams in the country. Auburn's like top third. So you're right about Auburn. They can really play either way. And that's one of the reasons I think they're one of the best teams in the country is, when you have to win 6 straight next month or starting tomorrow, March Madness, by the way, it gives you a shot when you're a chameleon. You can play different ways. Kentucky wants to go fast, and I think Auburn will probably follow along. That's one of the reasons the over is probably worth a look.
Let's shift gears and look at one that this is an incredible dichotomy with Alabama going to Tennessee. Alabama's the number 1 scoring team in the country, and Tennessee is number 3 in only allowing 60 points a game. There's a 31-point difference between what Alabama scores and what Tennessee allows, and that makes this a fascinating game just based on style alone.
Yeah, once again, I do expect Tennessee to be about a field goal favorite in this game. They'll be probably at least a basket or so favorite. And that's the one that jumps out to me about this matchup, of course. And it's the only time they play this season, so we don't have any revenge situation or anything to look at. But the one thing that jumps out to you is the pace of play. This is a typical slow versus fast. And in general, I think it's easier to slow down a fast team, and especially for the home team to dictate tempo. And this is about as extreme you're going to get. Alabama is the fastest paced team in the country. out of 364 squads. And Kentucky ranks in the bottom 25 as one of the slowest 25 teams in the country. Tennessee under, Alabama over. I would say both side and totals are definitely correlated in this one.
And it's interesting that, I mean, the margin of victory is bigger for Tennessee than it is for Alabama. You'd think a team that's the highest scoring team in the country would have a high scoring difference, and yet because Alabama allows 80 points a game, they're only at plus 11, whereas the Vols are plus 13 and a half, where they're and they only score 74 points a game, but because they put the lockdown on you.
Yeah, and teams get penalized a little bit defensively when you're a really good offensive team because there's more possessions, and a lot of the efficiency ratings now do factor that in. But I still think it's skewed. And one positive I'll point out for Alabama fans this year is, I've been knocking their defense for several years now. I think last year they weren't even in the top 100 in adjusted efficiency when the tournament began, and no team in the last 30-some years since those ratings have been out have ever won it. This year they're top 40 adjusted efficiency, and they're probably a little bit better than that because they do play so fast. So I do think this Alabama defense is a lot better than it's been the last couple years, and that is some hope for that both Auburn and Alabama are going to be very dangerous come March Madness.
Yeah, that's a great number, that adjusted defensive efficiency. What's also fascinating is that in the last 30 years, no team has won the national championship without being at least in the top 30. So they got to do a little bit more work, right? You got to get in the top 30, basically, because and some of those teams that won are, are right up there in the top 5, in defensive efficiency. By the way, just
keep in mind, Tom, it's a great point. We'll talk a lot about this in the next couple of weeks, but keep in mind over those 6 games, you can increase your efficiency rating by 10, 20 points sometimes. So those are usually the final ratings. So I would say a team has to be in the top 50 going into the tournament to have a chance.
By the way, point of clarification, when I mentioned Bruce Pearl with the one win, that's at Rupp Arena. That's at Kentucky, not overall against Kentucky. Right. It's just at Kentucky. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you. Have a great weekend, and we'll look forward to catching up next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Tom.
Steve Merrill helping us out right at the end of the show. It's pretty cool. All right, that's going to do it for us. UAH baseball is coming up somewhere. On the Charger Zone is where you can check that out. John mixed the show. I'm Tom. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone.
This is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Timberwolves superstar Anthony Edwards facing an automatic one-game suspension after picking up 2 technical fouls in the loss to the Lakers, giving him 16 on the season. Unless one of the T's against LA gets rescinded upon review by the NBA league office, Edwards will have to miss tonight's game in Utah. A vow from Isaiah Bond that he will break Xavier Worthy's record 40-yard dash time at the NFL Combine tomorrow. Anticipates running a 4.20, or if he's feeling great, he said he might run a 4.1. Worthy, also a former Texas Longhorn, ran a record